Hey guys, I just did a workout and I wrote down some ideas and notes for you so that you know some fitness training principles, some things that you really need to know the truth about how to get a really good workout in without exhausting yourself, with it feeling energizing and it feeling good. So, some things that you need to know. First of all, always do some sort of mobility or warm up training before. This is what people in a hurry always miss and then say, oh, why do I feel super sore the next day? What you need to do is take the time, 5 to 15 minutes, to warm up and do mobility and activation exercise that are specific to the movement that you're going to be doing in the workout. I found that a really sweet spot, a good number, is about 8 minutes. That way you have about 4 minutes or so to get 3 or 5 movements that are like flowing dynamic stretches in, followed by activation exercises that are specific to your movement, your primary movement, which you're going to be doing the very first in your workout. So the mistake you don't want to make here is overdoing the warm-up. So going too far. You don't want 20 minutes to go by or like to be at the end of the warm-up and go, oh, the workout must have started. No, you want there to be a clear mobility, activation, warm-up is done, and then, okay, now the workout is started. And you know that when you start with a primary exercise. A primary exercise or a primary movement is something that is a big move, like a squat, a deadlift, a push-up, a pull-up, anything that is like using more than one muscle group. Normally it's like 2 or 3 and it requires core bracing, which is another principle we're going to go over. Remember the core. Your core should be stable, and you can stabilize your core by using your breath. I'm going to go over exactly how to do this because there's 2 ways that the industry shows, and a lot of the times like our brains kind of like mesh these 2 ways and then we do it incorrectly, which can really hurt you over time. It can hurt your back, it can hurt how you breathe and your overall posture. So the next thing you need to make sure you do is after your primary moves, you then do your secondary moves. So secondary moves are smaller, single arm, single leg movements. So normally you do about 1 to 2 primary moves, maybe 3, and then you move on to your secondaries or you intermix them like in a superset. So the secondaries will be things like lunges, split squats, single arm rows, basically one arm, one leg things, or like a core exercise. So it could be like a plank, it could be like a sit-up. I don't recommend sit-ups, but that was the only thing I could think of at the time. But the secondary exercises are really going to be like that customization. So it might feel like you're doing the basics all the time over and over, especially when you're doing resistance training correctly. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So then your accessories. So you want to save your accessories for the very last. And the accessories are like biceps, triceps. Glutes are not an accessory. Glutes are a primary. But if you do like a single leg glute kickback, that's an accessory. But like a hip thrust, that's a primary. Be mindful during any of these movements, from the primaries, the secondaries, the accessories. You want to make sure that you are being mindful during your movement. That way, you won't hurt yourself. You don't have to rush through it. And if you are on a time budget, what I suggest is that you only do like 3 to 5 exercises in your workout. 3 to 5. Okay, a lot of workouts are like 8 exercises in a row, 12 exercises in a row, high intensity, interval training. How many reps am I doing? Am I done yet? No, none of that here, okay? Because you are going to set your rep range, stay intuitive, and know how many reps you're going to do while staying intuitive and being okay with calling it done or going a little extra based on how you feel and how you think you feel. So, how do you do this? You understand that in a workout, you can train for strength, you can train for size, or you can train for endurance with resistance training specifically. Of these, they each have a different rep range. For the strength exercises, you would be training 1 to 5 sets at 1 to 8 reps. 1 to 5 sets, 1 to 8 reps. So that's a pretty big range. Now, the lower you go, the less sets, the less reps, the more weight you can lift. That doesn't mean you should just go all in on your weight. We'll get to how to progressively add your weights later. Okay. And then after you have decided your rep range, and you decided strength, isn't it? So maybe you want to train for size or you want to train for endurance. Now, don't make this mistake that everyone makes, is thinking that endurance is the best thing to train for because it's similar to cardio and that you're going to do cardio so that you lose fat. No, that's not what we do. We do not do so many reps that we completely gas ourselves out, that our form is shit, and that, the next day you go, oh, like it just feels like a little, like I overdid it a little bit. Probably, if you're mindful and intuitive, the less reps you do, the more likely you're not going to get injured. So that's why I personally hang around 8 to 12 reps, and I really kind of stay around that 8 to 10 range, and then I vary my sets. So that works for me, and I cycle that over time, but you got to find what works for you. So if you really like lifting heavy weights, awesome, great. Make sure you're doing it right. Make sure you're doing it correctly. We all need tweaks in our form. It is a constant, you don't just get to knowing an exercise and then you can do it just like that all the time. It does get easier, but definitely understand that it is not going to just be easy. It never gets easier. In fact, your job as you get better at fitness training is to make it a little harder every time, but just a little bit. And most of the time, you need to dial your intensity way down, especially when you first start. That way you can build it up over time. Okay, so that's my speaker, because I was just working out in here, and that's what I got these ideas, and I just really wanted to share with you because I think it's important that you understand some of these basics of fitness training that people don't make common knowledge, and they don't say it in the layman's terms that I do, because I understand these concepts, I really grasp them. However, it's hard for me to say them in the scientific manner. I've been in academic circles, and I can't. I'm really low key and really chill with my languaging. So, yeah. Basically, you can train for strength, you can train for size, and size, I want to talk about this one because it's that 8 to 12 reps. I train like this, right? And do I look big and bulky to you? I don't think anyone would describe me as big and bulky or too muscular. What I think, doesn't matter, right? People will think what they want to think about me. But what I think is that I've never suffered from training and getting too big. In fact, I have always tried to get a little bit bigger because that tone up that you're searching for is actually muscle size. It is not, it's muscle size. A muscle has been built there, and then you've gotten lean enough to show that muscle. We all have 6 packs. It's under there. You have one too. Okay? You have one too. But we're not showing them, and that's because it's a little unrealistic to be showing them, especially as women who carry stress. And when we carry stress, we carry fat, and there's a whole lot of other factors as well, but specifically around the abdominal region. Stress is a really big factor, which is why I don't make my clients get more stressed by adding a billion things they need to do by handing them a list. I look at the things they think that they want to do, and then I kind of break that down into what actually would get them results and what they really could commit to, because too often we put like a million things on our list and then like we can't get to them, and then we just like throw out the list. So yeah, back to resistance training. You want to set your rep range, stay intuitive. No one knows how many reps you can do but you. So if you set up yourself for a strength workout and you want to do, as many reps as you can on a pretty heavy weight, and you know that your max is going to be about 8, but really, if you want to hit 8 at the weight that you've hit, you're going to have to stay really, or the weight that you've chosen, you're going to have to stay really intuitive between reps 5 and 8, maybe even 4 and 8. So really the only thing I think about when I am training is the numbers, which is funny because I'm not a very good rep counter as a trainer, but when I am working myself, I just think about the numbers. I think about the tempo, and I think about, the rep that I'm on, but it's not in like a negative, like, oh, how many reps do I have left? It's like okay, that was 1. How was that one? That was 2. That was pretty good. That was 3. Wow, I'm feeling strong. That was 4. Ooh, yeah. Like, now I'm starting to get tired. Oh no, I'm not tired. I have more in me. So there are things that you can say to yourself during the set, and to get like in the mindset during that set is something that is important, and that you will find how and what works for you. It's hard for me to say what will work for you, but keep the automatic negative thoughts out and go a little slower. Be intuitive. Intuitive means you're thinking about what you're doing at the time, and also feeling at the same time, and assessing your own feelings. So yeah, do that when you're resistance training. No matter what workout you do, use that tool. So increase your weights systematically. Again, whatever one that you're training for, endurance, strength, or size, you are going to increase your weights systematically, set by set, workout by workout. Now, what I'll go more in depth with later is what percentage of 1 rep max means and what it means for you, but that really is just how much of your max can you do for 8 reps? How much of your max can you do for 12 reps? So say you can do 1 rep at 100 pounds, whatever exercise it is, just imagine. You can do it for 100 pounds. And if you can do it for 100 pounds for 1 rep, how many could you do for 3 reps? Well, that would be about your 95 percentage 1 RM. So I'm guessing for 3 reps, you'd be able to do like 95 pounds. You see why I hit 100? Because the math is really easy there. So imagine you wanted to do 10 reps, and a 10 rep percentage max is 80%. So somewhere between 80 and 85%. And if you think that this is helpful in any way and you want to see a chart, I can post that chart, but I don't want to confuse anybody with numbers here too much. But just know that your percentage of 1 RM is like a flow chart. The more reps you can do, the less weight you're going to do. So like if you can do 20 reps, and that's like really like a 40% 1 RM, you'd probably be only using 40 pounds. And then if you're kind of like in this mid-range, you're doing like mid-range weight. So you want to increase this weight systematically over time. How do you do that? What you do is vary around your 1%, your percentage 1 RM, and you do the variations in a systematic way that you are just slightly increasing your weight, like 2.5 to 5 pounds, ladies. 2.5 to 5 pounds. That way you can see, can I really do this? In the first couple reps, you might not even notice a change. But then, let's say you're doing 8 reps, you get to around that 4 to 8 reps, and oh, I'm feeling the change now. I'm starting to feel it. Okay, great. You're starting to feel it. And then, like, oh, I hit 8 reps at that new increased weight. Great. You just hit a new increased weight. Write that shit down and make sure that you incorporate that weight for that same rep range next time. And then you know that if you can't do that weight, you got weaker in a way. Who knows? There's a lot of factors, but you could be weak on that day because your body is tired, or you hadn't ate enough, or you worked out too many times because you were trying to do too many things at once. And you're training a muscle group over again after not giving it 2 days of rest. These are things that I see beginners make mistakes with all the time, and it comes so second nature to me. Sometimes I didn't think that I needed to say it, but like clearly I do. This is important stuff so that you know how to resistance train properly. So one of the other mistakes that you're making is doing so many multiple exercises in a row and rushing through them. You can't do my way and put together like this giant circuit that has you like exhausted. Maybe if you put exercises that were complementary to each other. So what I mean by complementary is that, you pick 3 to 5 exercises. I think 6, 7, 8 is just too much for a circuit. But people would disagree in the fitness industry with me, and that's okay. The multiple exercises in a row, to be complementary, they have to be like an alternating muscle group, an opposing muscle group, or a muscle group that goes along with that. So like, let's say I'm doing a hip thrust. I'm going to talk about hip thrust a lot, so just so you know what it is, maybe I'll put a video with this below so that you can see what a hip thrust is. If I don't, or I forget, please like leave me a comment or send me a message and be like, hey, what's a hip thrust? And I'll tell you. So say you're working the hip thrust first, and like later you also want to do a lateral rotary exercise, which is like a side step or a side squat or a side lunge, basically anything where you're using your side glute. That would be an example of using a similar muscle group but doing something different with it. So you can do the hip thrust and then you can do the side lunge. Great. Now your booty's burning. What are you going to do next? You're not going to do another booty exercise because unless it was like a hamstring curl. And then that's when you would do another like booty exercise. I'm already like getting excited about this. I'm going to write it down so that I can try this workout tomorrow. But you want to do an exercise that complements if you're working the same muscle group. So like kind of working around the muscle group, and have a visual of like an anatomy. We got the booty, and then we kind of worked the sides over here, and then we like went down over there. So I love thinking about how the body works during a workout. So now let's say you want to do something different and you want to do a full body workout. So what you would do is follow the formula. You want to start with a primary first. Then you want to do another primary. Then you want to do another primary, or move into your secondaries. Maybe do like 2 secondaries and then do like an accessory. So we got 2 primaries, 2 secondaries, and accessory. What are we going to do here? We're going to put the squat up top. It's a great primary exercise, one that every person should know how to do properly, but most do not. And most people who do a squat, maybe later I'll show you how you can really decide what type of training you're going to do and what muscle groups you're going to focus on based off of the results and how your squat looks. That is something I teach people in my paid programs because they like need to know how to do a squat. And the squat helps me as a consultant know what exercises you should be doing. So when I look at a squat, and I'm specifically talking about the overhead squat test that I learned how to do from National Academy of Sports Medicine, basically put your arms overhead, you do a squat, your knees and hips are going to do some shit, and I'm trained to know what that stuff is and what that means. When your knee goes in, your knee is valgusing. It comes from the hip. It comes from the foot. You got to open that up. You got to strengthen the outside of the leg. There are so many factors that I understand if you don't want to get involved in, but if you don't get involved with it, you'll never know what to do on your own. So learn what to do on your own. And that's what I'm here to teach you, how to do it on your own. So back to our circuit. God damn it. Sorry for my swearing. That was, get it together. Okay, so you've started with the squat. That's why I went on that tangent, the squat. Oh, so many dreams there. The squat. And then you moved on to another primary exercise. Are you going to do like a deadlift after a squat? No, don't do that, because it makes no sense for someone who is learning how to engage their core properly and how to do resistance training properly. You're not going to be able to decipher how to do a squat and then how to do a deadlift back to back. Your body's not going to be able to decipher it. So pick something else. Pick something like an upper body exercise, okay? Generally, the push muscles go together. So like if I was going to do a squat, I might do another push type of muscle, which is like the front of the body, pushing forward, pulling back. So if I was to push forward and do an exercise, I'd say, let's say a push-up. Everyone knows what a push-up is. And I would do that one next. So now I'm going to do the push-up. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now I'm tired, but I got to go back to the legs. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a split squat. I'm going to do a split squat because it's like a squat, but it's single leg. It's a secondary. It's not a primary. I'm going to go back to my push muscles, and I'm going to isolate on those quads. Great. Boom, boom, split squat. Done. I'm back to the chest. Now, I've already done push-ups, and a lot of people might go, oh, overhead press next. I don't like to put push-ups and overhead press in the same workout. Most of the time, I might hit like a lateral exercise. So I've been digging moves that like include the arms and the hips at the same time. So I might do a Palloff press. I might do a twist and punch. I might do something that brings someone into more of an athletic stance there. Because in the middle of the workout, that's when you're like putting things together. Your body, you're feeling your quads, now you're feeling your arms, feeling the core, and then you're moving on to your last secondary exercise. No, you did both secondary exercises, and now you have your accessory. So for this particular workout, and I didn't write this down, it just came out of my booty, out of my mouth, the last exercise I would do is a tricep push down in this scenario, because after you've done the pressing and after you've done the kind of moving around, the last one I would want to do is like draw everything down and back, and then I would want to isolate the triceps, which is an accessory. All right, these guys, what everyone likes to call their bat wings, okay? Cut that shit out. Stop calling it bat wings. You want bat wings? You call yourself and you say you have bat wings, that's what you're going to have. That's what it is. And you're going to do this, and guess what? That's going to train your arm to literally separate the fat and separate the muscle from the bone so that you can wave it around even more. Okay? Sorry, little aid on the bat wings there. I started too many times. Okay, so I'm almost done. You guys are really learning what I have to tell you about how to build your own workout. So learn the exercises and the positioning. Again, I'll go over this more in depth later on, but it gets less complicated as soon as you know what the basics are. and then you can break down those basics into the movement. I think what the fitness industry really gets wrong is like the popular ones, like the popular exercises are really secondaries and they're really accessories. That's not what gets you results. Like primaries get you results. Squats get you results. Squats increase your metabolism, but you can't do squats until you do the right accessories and the right secondaries to get you to a point where you're strong enough to do a squat. So again, this is something I can teach you, how these smaller muscles build into the bigger muscles. So if you're not ready for a squat yet, which there are so many variations of a squat that I really think everyone can find a variation where they squat pain-free. I had a client who just said that she couldn't squat because XYZ, and I told her, well, try the sumo squat, and boom. Easy. Widen your stance. Knee pain is gone. Knee pain is gone. And there are so many fixes like that. And if you just tried, you just didn't give up and start letting the automatic negative thoughts that go, you don't know what you're doing, you can't do it, you're hurting yourself, you're not doing it right, you're not enough, you're gonna do all this work and then nothing's gonna happen. Oh, you're just, you're wasting your time. Throw it out. Wash your hands of it. Throw it out. All those things. So I want you to discover your strength during a workout. So instead of going towards exhaustion, towards being tired, do it differently. Do it literally the opposite. Go in tired. Go in, right? This is what I did. I was depressed, angry, sad, excuses all the time. And I would just be like, the only thing that I can do today to make myself feel better is go to the gym. And I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't know how my body feels. But I'm going to just follow. And I'm just going to learn some exercises, and I'm just going to start taking care of my body. And once I did that and I started applying what I learned in school, I was like, whoa, I don't have to exhaust myself. I can actually build myself up. I don't have to walk out of the gym hobbling. I don't have to be dripping in sweat. I can go towards energy. I can leave feeling more energetic, not exhausted. And of course you're going to be tired. I mean, the energies of your bodies flow throughout the day. And so maybe you're not tired right after, and maybe an hour or two goes by and you're tired, and that would be really the sweet spot. I like to work out a couple hours before I go to bed, so it's a nice thing for me. That way I'm not too hyped up. I can go to bed. But whatever time of day that you work out, just know that you're not trying to exhaust yourself, because when you exhaust yourself and you get your adrenaline really pumping and you're you're really revving up more of that stress and chemicals of stress. And again, we just talked about how stress is no bueno. There is a good part about stress, and I think that you can get to that point by pushing yourself with the weight and being intuitive in the set. And there are a lot of times where I'm not sweating, I'm not huffing and puffing, but I feel like I've been working. I feel like my muscles are worked. And that is the sweet spot, in my opinion. So, and if you agree with my opinion, that's why you're talking. I would like you to discover your strength during the workout instead of going towards exhaustion. And I want you to decide how you want progress. So, people lose momentum because they're not seeing the progress as fast as they would like. So start seeing the progress in each and every workout. Start putting the dots together as to why you are not getting, either why you're not getting the results you want, and once you figure that out, go in and go get those results. So do you want to be faster? Do you want more weight on your on your lift? Do you want to be able to do more reps? I want you to throw out the more weight will make me bulky. The heavy weights make me bulky. It's just not true. If that was true, I'd be giant. If that was true, women in the fitness industry would look a lot bigger. That's just not true. The women who do look like that, who have scared you into thinking that, you know, lifting heavy weights is going to make you bulky, most likely want to look like that, and they're taking some sort of drug to make themselves look like that. They want to. Okay? And they are using weights to help them get there, but they're only getting there biologically because of things like steroids, and there's a couple other things on the market that people do to get bulky. But just lifting weights alone and lifting heavy weights is not going to make you bulky. Nope. So decide what you want. And if you want to tone up, you actually want to gain size. So you're in that 8 to 12 range. What do you want? You don't really want to do it for... You do want to do it for more weight. You do want to do it for a little longer time. The 8 to 12 rep range is really like a sweet spot because it can be both. Time under tension, so holding the weight for longer and like squeezing the weight, using the muscles, pulling it towards you. All of that will give you time under tension, which helps stimulate muscle growth. Now, another thing you can do is you don't have to do as many, right? You could do more weight. So if you want to be around that 8 rep range, add more weight. And then next set, see if you can add more weight. Again, 2.5 to 5 pounds per jump. And don't start off super light and then go, oh, I can jump up 2.5. No, maybe like the first week and then experiment a little bit. And then that second or third week, write that shit down. Again, get a journal, write down your weights, understand how much you're lifting for each lift. Okay? Because progressive overload. Because when you add more weight, you are progressing. So if you're getting frustrated about, oh, I haven't lost the weight yet, I haven't done this and that, fitness training isn't doing anything for me, you are not doing it long enough, and you're not doing it and progressing it enough because you're not looking at the very small thing you could do in the workout to make it better, which is add more weight, do it for longer, do it faster, whatever the hell it is that you can commit to. Generally for me, my programs, it's about more weight because that's just easier and people don't think about the tempo. I keep a good consistency between like 3 different tempos, which is a 2 lift, a 2 hold, a 2 down, a 1 lift, a 3 hold, a 5 down, or a 3, 3, 3. Yeah. So that is the story about rep ranges. And 2 more things. Decide to not chase the burn, but don't wimp out when you feel it. So you're not trying to get to this point where like, oh yeah, I feel it, like it's burning, oh, a few more left. No. You want to, again, think about those rep ranges, go back up, think about those rep ranges, get to that point, you're between 4 and 8, you're like, can I do any more? Maybe check yourself out in the mirror, see if you're like, is things going good? Is my position right? Awesome, it is, I'm in the zone, and I just can't do anymore. Great, you just can't do anymore. Now do 1 less than that. Do 1 less till you get to the point that you can't do anymore. I don't want to see anyone fail on a rep. It doesn't, there's times and places for it, for sure. I failed on a few reps. I'm thinking about falling over on the bow suit right now. Those are mostly my fails because I don't do frills very well. And I don't do balance training on balls very well. So, although I do use them from time to time because I have one. I found one at the Goodwill for like $10, and they're like $40 regularly. No, I found it for $20. It was $40 originally at the Goodwill. It was like a half off day. And then It was like $120. Anyways, I'm gonna make a new pillar off this, which is get the training equipment that you think is necessary for your program. Don't just buy whatever. And also, this is about resistance training, so we'll get back to that. Cycle in mobility. All right, this is a very important last step, so I'm so happy that you're here with me through this entire long video. I want you to cycle in mobility. So when you feel like something's hurting here, it's time to call it quits. No, it's not. It's time to get into your mobility phase. So like the end of the workout cool down phase. But you can also cycle in mobility during your sets. And that would look like let me grab something. Because I am in my workout room that I created in my home here in Seattle. And I love it because it's been like my second office to me. And a lacrosse ball is something that I use, and I have about 14 of them, that you can mobilize. Like if you're feeling tight in areas, go towards the biggest muscle group near that area and start massaging it and see how it feels. That's it. Generally, like if it's a shoulder, it's going to be like this muscle, this muscle. Think about the biggest bellies around that joint. Don't think about the joint. Don't go, it still hurts. It's because you're rubbing right on the nerve. That's not how you do that. You want to rub on the parts where the biggest belly of a muscle is. And then lastly, you want to make sure you bring that to a cool down. So you don't have to hold long stretches for a cool down. A lot of the times I do like 1 or 2 stretches for a cool down, but I might really focus like that last 5 or 10 minutes of a workout session on mobility and specifically on a tight muscle or knot that was bothering me during the workout and that made itself very known. And then after I work on that mobility, I would maybe stretch that area. And I say maybe because I like to do flowing. Flowing stretches, and static stretching is normally like cool down stretches. I might do like some yin yoga, something where you hold a pose for, a little while. But I don't like to do like the basic stretches. At that point, it's more about cooling down, getting your body to a place where you feel good, not like overstretching an area or like basically overstretching, because hypermobility is just as bad as immobility. Sometimes I've seen it be worse. And getting the length tension relationship, strengthening your body, so important. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it gave you useful information, and I hope that it was clear and concise and quick enough for you to view all the way through. If not, I'll have a quick synopsis of all the things I talked about in a text so that you can see everything. And yeah, I hope that this was helpful for you. And just remember that if you need any help with resistance training or learning some of these concepts, I have a program for that. And if you are watching this video and you're in my program, thank you for being a part of this. I hope you find this information helpful and that you take it and run with it and know that you are limitless and you can build this up. You can build up your strength. And you can do it by being intuitive and in alignment with yourself. So thank you for being here with me today. And I'm starting to get tired. My soft voice is coming on. So yeah, thank you. Bye.